Hi, I'm Effie and this is What Effie Reads. This video is just going to be a short kind of review of V. Schwab's latest novel, Gallant.
Pitch black hair, his eyes are green. Head's messed up but heart so clean.
So I feel like we need to take a moment to appreciate the makeup. So, I don't know if you can see, I need to bring a light a bit closer. So I don't know if that's too bright now. But you can see I've kind of tried to do like skeleton hands, like the chapter headings of Gallant. And then I've got thorns on this side. And again, the skeleton hands around my eye. And I've got like leaves or like growing sprouts on that side. So, Gallant is V. Schwab's latest novel. It is their first novel to come out after the incredible success of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and it is such a different book to Addie LaRue. So whilst Addie LaRue had this massive scope, Gallant is a much quieter, gentler book, but no less beautiful. The way I describe this book is like you're walking in a beautiful garden and the sun's just beginning to set and it's bathing everything in this gorgeous golden light. But at the back of your mind, you have this mounting dread. Like you know something bad's gonna happen when it gets dark, but you just don't know what. So the first thing I will say about this book is it is an incredibly quick read. I've heard multiple people say it is a one-sitting book. For me, I wasn't able to read it in a single sitting, largely because I had work this past week and I find that my schedule is very much focused on like recuperating after work and I don't get much chance to read for large portions of time. But I did find it incredibly quick to get through. I would say I was getting through maybe like a page a minute, which is quite fast for me. I tend to average maybe around like 20-25 pages an hour. So this book has been pitched as The Secret Garden meets Crimson Peak. However, it was only after like I started telling people and people were like, I don't know what Crimson Peak is. I realised that neither did I actually. I'd got confused in my head and thought it was Twin Peaks, which I'm like, I've not watched either Crimson Peak or Twin Peaks, but I have more of an idea about what Twin Peaks is, so it made more sense to me. But the way that I would personally describe this book is Secret Garden, but with ghouls. The story follows Olivia Prior, a non-verbal 16-year-old, and the only piece of knowledge about her family that she has is a journal that belonged to her mother that as it goes on and on, it appears to be spiraling into madness. And then on the final page of the journal is a letter written directly to Olivia saying, the dreams can't hurt you and you'll be safe so long as you stay away from Gallant. Except one day, Olivia receives a letter from an uncle she's never met, inviting her to come to Gallant. And this book is an exploration of home, family, belonging, and so many different aspects. Like it is a very gently paced book. Like I hesitate to call it slow because I feel like slow doesn't do it justice. It builds up gradually but beautifully. And then like 10 pages out from the end, I still had no idea how everything was going to be resolved. And it literally kept me gripped from start to finish. It is filled with Schwab's beautiful poetic writing, but it's also a very creepy book, largely because you have a lot of these ghouls featured within this story. It was an interesting experience to go from reading Addie LaRue to reading Gallant, and it isn't just that Addie LaRue was Schwab's last work and then I've read Gallant. I literally read them back to back, which made for a really interesting experience. And you definitely see the difference between the very largeness of Addie LaRue, whereas Gallant is a very, not just in a physical sense, but in a scope sense, it's a much smaller book, but it is just as beautiful, and I loved it just as much, just in a different way to how much I loved Addie LaRue. I think this book is one that it's quite difficult to place into a box. It is gothic, it transcends age categories, like anyone from middle grade up can read it. Well, obviously that's the case for all books, but there's no content in it that would be inappropriate for a middle grade reader. But it also doesn't really read like middle grade or YA or adult. It's its own beast, and I think this is a book that I'm going to be thinking about for a long time yet. It's also a book that I'm probably going to want to reread again and again because I enjoyed it so much, and also the joy of it being a small, quick book is it is very easy to do those repeated rereads. I'd love to know your thoughts on this book, and if there's any particular V. Schwab books you're interested to hear my thoughts on, please do let me know. As I attended Schwab's Gallant event in Edinburgh recently, I will have a vlog linked up above if you're interested in seeing clips from my trip. But whilst I was on the trip, I'm pretty sure I ended up completing my Schwab collection. So I'm relatively sure I own all of Schwab's work now. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's a little bit different from my usual content, but I was so excited about this book. I knew that I wanted to dedicate a video specifically to my thoughts on it. So if you like this, please do give me a like, maybe consider subscribing, and until next time, bye!
There's a place